Hey everyone, welcome to our first GlobeSage Table Talk. Over the next coming weeks and months, we're going to be posting different table talks that we've had with friends, family, awesome clients, and fellow travelers on different travel topics.
Yes, and I'm so excited for this new series. Of course, our hope is that you would learn from these conversations and join in. So make sure to comment below and ask any questions you might have. And also stay till the end of our videos because we always want to give you guys a travel resource that will help you in your trip planning.
Excellent. Today, we're here at the table with our GlobeSage team. I'm Christie, the founder of GlobeSage Travel, and we love planning personalized trips for our clients.
And I'm Dacoda. I've been a part of the GlobeSage team since last October, and my main role is admin assistance and travel research. So if you've ever planned a trip with us, you probably got an email or two from me before.
All right, well, to jump right in today, Dacoda and I are going to be sharing some of our favorite U.S. destination travel memories in hopes to give you some domestic vacation ideas and inspire you toward travel.
Yes, and we also want to share our oops, would never do that again. That way, when you guys travel, you won't have to make the same mistakes.
Yeah. And look, we understand that with the world's current climate, it may not be the best time to travel, but we want to share some of our previous experiences with you, hopefully some fun and laughs. Plus, we can all look forward to traveling when we're safe to roam again. So let's get started.
Yes, and Christy, I would like to ask you first. So tell us about your favorite U.S. travel memory, if you can pick one.
Oh my gosh. You know, I was thinking about this when we started preparing for this, and I have several. I might hit on them at different times, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of U.S. travel is New York City. I don't know why, but it's one of those places that I really can't get enough of. There's so much to do, and so my memories just automatically go back there. It's so stimulating. It's so visually and emotionally stimulating that the memories just stick.
Yes, I love New York City for sure. Is there one particular memory that you want to share that stands out the most?
Well, you know, the first time I went to New York after the Freedom Tower was built, or sometimes it's called One World Tower, it really blew me away. I mean, everybody knows how meaningful that time in history was and how spectacular those memorial footprints are of the Twin Towers. Even if you haven't been there, most people have seen pictures, and it's pretty amazing and impressive and thought-provoking. But I remember the first time, I love to go up skyscrapers in any city I'm in. So remember the first time I went up Freedom Tower, and it's so technologically advanced, and there's so many cool things, like this giant 2 or 3 story wall showing people from all over the world who are coming into the building, and this huge reveal, and the elevator is unreal. If you've never been to Freedom Tower, as you're going up this over 100 story elevator that goes very fast, the entire elevator surround is screens. So as you're going up, they're actually building New York City in like a time-lapse movie around you.
Oh.
So as you're going up, it's like old New York, and by the time you get up there, it's the current skyline. It is unreal. And of course, your ears are popping, and it's crazy. It's quite an experience.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the most recent time I went to Freedom Tower, because I've been a few times, I actually got to eat at I think it's called Top of the World, the restaurant that's up there, which is not cheap, of course. You would never expect it to be cheap, but it's actually not as expensive as you think until you start buying mocktails, which we did a lot of. Mocktails and appetizers is where they get you. They're almost as much as the meals. But oh, it was so much fun to throw caution to the wind and just spend the money and enjoy it. It was really a treat.
I love that. And did you go with friends, family, by yourself?
I've been to New York City lots of times, but the most recent time was with my mom, my brother Jonathan, and my nephew Hiro. And it was Hiro's first time. At the time, he had just turned, let's see, when was it? He had just turned 10. And yeah, because he just had his 11th birthday just yesterday, I think. We really wanted to show him New York City. So it was fun to go. And I gotta tell you one funny story. So my brother, he's younger than me, and he is a goofball. He's a total goofball. And so he actually wore a Spider-Man costume through the streets of New York City. It was so fun. It was specifically the Miles costume. So it was a black Spider-Man costume, and he was dancing around in the streets. Okay, this is something I could never do, but my brother, he
oh my gosh.
But it was pretty darn funny. We did get to see the outside of the memorial, the big footprints and the tower. The inside of the memorial would have been way too heavy for a 10-year-old. If you've not been there, it's pretty big. I mean, you need several hours, and you need to be in the right mindset because it's pretty sobering. On to a more fun subject. We had a blast, like eating up at the top of Freedom Tower. We went to a little kitschy coffee shop. We got New York pizza because you have to get New York pizza.
Yes,
we got hot dogs because you have to get New York hot dogs. I mean, there's these like little things you kind of have to do if you've never been to New York, that even though I've been a million times, I still do.
Yes, I love it. Classic New York trip.
Classic New York trip.
And is there anything that you would say, I mean, I know you've been lots of times, so you might have a few things.
Yeah.
But one really important thing that you would say, maybe a mistake that you've made or something that you missed when you went one of the times, that you would recommend to somebody if they're traveling there, not to do or to make sure not to do?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Before I go to like a negative, I would say a must do if you go to New York is, before you go, figure out your favorite food that you maybe haven't had that much of, or that you can't get at home, because it will be in New York City.
Yes.
And so I remember one of my favorite flavors is chimichurri, and it's an Argentinian pesto type sauce that they put over steak. And I was on a business trip to New York City, and the team, I was just a support function, and the team was off doing their events and stuff. And so I was all by myself, and I'm like, I'm going to find an Argentinian restaurant. So I went, and here I am in this nice restaurant all by myself, like my own solo date. And I had the most amazing food. And it's kind of fun to be alone once in a while and just get to savor and not have to worry about someone rushing you. And that was a blast. There was even these like crispy artichokes, and yeah, I'm a foodie. So New York is definitely the place to be. Oh, two more quick memories I have to share. Oh my gosh, how are we gonna cut this? I have so many New York stories. One time with my husband, and this is a time I was actually in New York with my husband, which is always better to have your best friend with you. And we were near Central Park, and I think we had gotten Gray's papaya hot dogs, and we were just like looking around Central Park and exploring, and suddenly we had this torrential downpour of rain. No. And so like in normal life, you're like, rain, let me take shelter. But we actually just embraced it, and we were just laughing and getting soaked. And I don't know, there was something kind of beautiful about the spontaneity of it. And New York just brings that out of me. It brings fun and spontaneity, because I don't live there. I'm sure it's very different for people who live there. It's hustle and bustle and busy, but when you're there for fun, sky's the limit. It's just endless. One more story. This is back to that work trip that I took. I was coming out of my hotel, and I had to ask a local how to hail a cab. I mean, it doesn't get any lamer than feeling like you don't know how to hail a cab. I was actually trying to hail a cab that was going the direction of uptown, but I wanted to go downtown. And so he's like, oh yeah, if they find out that's the way you're going, they're just going to ignore you and leave. So you have to actually cross the street.
Right.
To get a cab going that direction if you really want them to take you. So I crossed the street and I learned a great lesson about how to hail a cab in New York. And I learned a lot about the uptown, downtown thing and the way the streets run. There's so much to do and learn.
So one more question to wrap this little section up. If someone were to travel to New York tomorrow, what would you say is something that they should definitely not miss?
That is a tricky question because there are so many things to do, such a variety, and really something for everyone, that the one thing I would recommend without a doubt is for someone to get the ticket for the hop on, hop off bus. Here's why. I mean, it's the typical, it's in every major city, the hop on, hop off, or the big bus. It's very typical. However, what I like about doing the route at the beginning of a trip is you get to see all the different things and you can kind of feel what's drawing you and what's pulling you. And then if you have a few days in New York or a week, then you have a list of places you want to go back to. So it's a really cool way to start your trip, to kind of get an overview, an intro. And they have several routes, and I even took like a Brooklyn night bus, and there's just really neat stuff. But the main point isn't so much to get the tour as much as to kind of whet your appetite for what you want.
Yes, that's a very good tip. Thanks, Christy.
Yeah. All right, girl, it's your turn. Spill. What's your favorite trip you've been on in the U.S.?
Favorite trip I've been on would have to be in 2016. 4 friends and I hopped in a car and we decided that we were going to road trip across the entire U.S. So I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina full time at that time. And so we hopped in the car in Charlotte and we drove all the way to California, to Northern California. It was so crazy, so cool.
How long of a trip was that?
I think we did it in 11 days.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm pretty sure that we crossed in 3 and came back in 3 and then spent a few days in California with a friend of ours that we were visiting. So lots of good quality time.
Oh, very cool. So what were the most memorable stops on that road trip? Like, give me maybe 3.
Okay. Well, we stopped in Nashville 2 times, on the way there and on the way back. And I have a friend in Nashville. Someone else had a family member in Nashville. So we got to see a couple people that we hadn't seen in a while, which is always so nice. And we went to a lot of different coffee shops. We were all coffee addicts. So we jumped around the best Nashville coffee shops. And Nashville is just so sweet if you've never been before. A great little southern town, city. And yeah, it was nice to kind of walk around, look at the shops and antiques and things like that. So that would be one that I really liked. Cool. And then in California, Northern California, we went through the Redwoods forest. And so
beautiful.
Beautiful redwoods. And we ended up going a little further west and going to the coast, which was my first time in the Pacific coast. So that was so beautiful. The waves and the scenery is so much different than the Atlantic. So different. So that was beautiful, very memorable. And the third, but definitely not the least, was the Grand Canyon. Oh. We stopped there on the way back and we just made it in time, the hour before sunset. So we got there at sunset and I mean, it was just so breathtaking. I have never seen anything like that before.
Wow.
It was not long enough. So I have to go back for sure. But even just catching a glimpse was so worth the stop.
It sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. So on this trip, did you have any snafus that you want to share? Any juicy tidbits?
Juicy tidbits. One thing I would say, this is a hilarious memory that I don't even know, Christy, if you know, but it's my first time reaching the Pacific Ocean. And at that point, I wasn't sailing. I wasn't, doing all these crazy things that I'm doing now. So I was still a bit, timid around the ocean. And it was November. So it's like winter time. The waves are insane. But I was just waiting and, walking, and I had my purse around me. My shoes were right on the shore. And all of a sudden there was this riptide, and I'm walking probably ankle deep in water, nothing crazy, wearing big baggy jeans and a big sweater. And the wave just came and like knocked me out. I have no clue how, but I was just, and literally I have photos of me just being taken and my friends running toward the shore. Like my one friend with a camera is just taking photos and I'm being toppled in the waves. Like I lost my cell phone. My cell phone flew out of my bag, lost. I had to order a new phone to California.
Oh,
it was crazy. I still had my wallet and my ID and everything, which praise God, but
yeah.
such a crazy memory. So I would say, if you're going to be anywhere near the ocean, maybe not go in November when they're, and know what you're doing. Maybe be around people who live on the coast, who know when there's a rip and when there's not a rip. Or just don't be like me and wade in your jeans and your sweater where it's difficult to get up. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, so that was a pretty funny memory that
funny, but probably I'm suspecting not funny in the moment.
Not funny in the moment, but I don't know. I had to just laugh it off. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you have to.
Country, and so.
But it is not fun losing a phone for one.
No, oh my goodness.
I mean, they're not cheap, so.
No,
yeah.
exactly. Oh my gosh.
That sucks.
Yeah. We also stopped in Denver, and let me just say, if you're going to be in Denver, all in the surrounding areas, definitely go tour the Red Rocks Amphitheater. It is so beautiful, so vast, and if you have a chance to see a show there, literally was absolutely insane. I mean, we just took the coolest pictures just from that view, looking down at all the red rocks and everything, and Colorado is just such a diverse state. Like we were passing snow-capped mountains 1 second and then red rocks, cliffs the other second, and yeah, definitely one of the best stops of the trip for sure.
Yeah, you can't go wrong in Colorado. Pretty much anywhere in Colorado is just beautiful and so much to see and do. So if someone were going to, let's just pick one of your places, the Grand Canyon, what would you say they absolutely should not miss?
One thing that I didn't get to do because we were there so quick that I really want to do is, I know that they actually do like that there are hiking trails and tours you can go on with a guide, and just looking down into that abyss and seeing all like the little trails and some of the trees just lining it, I was like, oh my gosh, this view's great, but how much better would it be to be in that and looking up at that just craziness. So I would definitely say if you're going to be anywhere near the Grand Canyon for a few days, do the hike, camp in there if you can. We saw little fires. People had their fires going with their campsites. So yeah, that's a bucket list trip of mine for sure.
Yeah, for me, I've always wanted to go on the river rafting trip.
Yes.
I know they have some rough areas and some easier areas. I'd be an easy girl, but I would love to go river rafting in the Grand Canyon. Wouldn't that be fun?
It'd be insane. Oh my gosh, it'd be awesome.
Very cool. So it looks like maybe we should go on that trip together.
I think so.
An excuse to get together in person.
Exactly. Yeah, we love that.
We could go on and on, but we should probably give them their lives back, right? I mean, there's so many wonderful places to visit in the U.S. and we really could go on and on about it. And both Dacoda and I have been to so many different places, and we both love to travel, which is why we do what we do. So we better stop here because we could really get going. But we did mention that we wanted to give you a free resource, and the whole heart behind these videos isn't anything but just sharing our love for travel. So we thought, what could we give people that would encourage them to travel and make their lives a little easier? So we've created this planning checklist. It's really a planning guide, and it will help take a little bit of the pain and the burden out of travel planning, because we know, I mean, this is what we do. It is incredibly detailed and it can get overwhelming, and we just want to serve you and help you, and we hope this guide will help. If something gets too overwhelming, reach out to us. We'd love to help, globesage.com. But this isn't about that. This is about making your lives easier and helping you to dream about travel and getting back out there. So we hope you've had fun just listening to our goofy stories, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Make sure you click on the link for the resource. It's totally free. And also, we'd love your comments and suggestions about what you would like for future topics and talks. So thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we will see you on the trail. Bye.